It is finally the end of the year for Call of Duty, and it is now time for all Call of Duty fans to sadly move on to the next title. But good for us, it is going to be a much better title called Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So that is one positive side to this. But now that I look back on it, was Call of Duty World War II really that bad of a Call of Duty game? Now, the issue that I think everybody is having with this game is that they're comparing it to pretty much the previous games that are more recent compared to the past games that were actually boots on the ground. When a lot of people look at World War II, they're comparing it to games like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, maybe even Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. They're not really pinpointing it back to games like Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2, or even World at War, games like that. I think they're kind of keeping it more recent compared to comparing it to games that are more like World War II. I thought it would be a lot better to actually talk about this topic when I'm not raging about World War II. And I was going to make this video yesterday, but God, I was getting so pissed at this game. It's something about it that every time I touch it, I get angry. I don't know why. It's just the way this game plays really pisses me off. The map design, the gunplay, the movement. It's just really an odd Call of Duty game. I'll get later into that later in this video, but what I was saying is I'm trying to stay cool while talking about this, so it's not just, you know, like a rant about how bad World War II is. There's some positive sides to this game, but I just had to cool myself down first before I actually got into this video. I think when they were designing Call of Duty World War II, they were trying to aim to get the older Call of Duty players back into the picture. I don't think they were really trying to please all the people who started off with Call of Duty Ghost or Advanced Warfare or anything like that. I think they were trying to get maybe the Call of Duty 4 players, Call of Duty World at War, maybe even the Modern Warfare 2 players as well. I think they were just trying to pinpoint a certain area of people, not trying to completely explode the title Call of Duty, but kind of bring those people back into the title. I think they were trying to bring a nostalgia feel back for a lot of the older Call of Duty players. The gameplay was a little bit more slower, a little clunkier than, you know, the average Call of Duty game that you'll see nowadays. And another thing that they took out was the unlimited sprint, which probably was my favorite feature ever implemented into a Call of Duty game, but they're really trying to push this game back to the main roots of Call of Duty games. But what I don't think that a lot of people understand is that things change and evolve after a certain amount of times. And the way they used to be might not be the best way to make it in the current age that we are playing in. For example, if you look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 Remastered, that wasn't really the best example of bringing back a game. And people keep saying, remaster Modern Warfare 2, remaster Black Ops 2, remaster. It's stupid. You should not remaster these games. It just doesn't make too much sense to me. You should never remaster a Call of Duty game, or just any multiplayer game in general, especially one that has been pretty much out since like 5+ years ago. It just does not work. And for some reason, people have this specific mindset on how the game used to play. Oh, well, so fast-paced and so fun, and we had a blast. But you have to understand, over these 5+ years of this game being out, a lot of other Call of Duties have come out, and a lot of people play these other Call of Duty games, and they find different things they enjoy in them, and they kind of almost use all these separate ideas from, like, let's say Call of Duty Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare and Ghost, and they put them into this one idea of, this is how Modern Warfare 2 was played, and this is how Modern Warfare 1 was played, when that's not actually how the game was played. It was a much slower game back then. You didn't have a limited sprint. You had to work off of perks in order to be able to run faster, reload faster, all these other things, but people don't have that mindset. They think that the game is made exactly how they're thinking of it. And I think that's where World War II went a wrong direction. I think they were trying to bring back too many classic ideas on what Call of Duty used to be, when that's not what Call of Duty is now. Call of Duty has changed a lot. It's a much more fast-paced game, much more arcadey feel, and it's just a quicker, action-packed game than it used to be back in the day. And I think that World War II, when it first came out, their idea was to just make it a classic Call of Duty game and lure the crowd back in. But I think that's where their downfall was. And after a lot of time, they did implement a lot of the newer features in these Call of Duty games, like unlimited sprint and such, to make it a little bit more fresh, but I think it's just too late at that point. And by then, the game was already destroyed. So to answer the question, is Call of Duty World War II really that bad? It's not really that bad, honestly. It just caters to a certain style of player. For me, this isn't my favorite Call of Duty. It's actually one of my most hated Call of Duty games. So, if it was my personal opinion, I would say this game is trash and it's not good at all. But I can't speak for everybody in the world. Like I said, this game has a very specific style that is treated towards a certain player base. So it is people out there that this game will be fun for and people do enjoy it. It's just for the majority of the crowd, it's not that great of a Call of Duty game, especially for boots on the ground. Nowadays, people are looking basically just for a lot more faster pace of a Call of Duty game, and this game just did not really deliver that type of style. But thank you all for tuning in to yet another video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, and leave a comment on your own personal opinion on what you think about Call of Duty World War II. Is it really that bad, or is it good in your opinion? I always love to hear. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button to be notified, and you can always follow me on Twitter as well, @JBoneTheMan. See you all in the next video. Peace out.